How all the time people say, Lion Daniel, we want new members. We want younger members. And I have a question. And my question is, are you ready for change? No. Well, then you're not ready for new members because you don't want younger members. You want people who look like you, who think like you, who pray like you, who serve like you. You want clone. Well, when they say they're not ready for change, that's what we're hearing. And so I'm going to talk about a whole lot of change, technological change, but I want to put it in the context of how adaptable are we and how much imagination do we have? So I met a 19-year-old. He is from Serbia. He made his first $1 million by the age of 16. And he told me, Lion Daniel, the next evolution of humanity has occurred. And I said, robots going to replace us? And he said, no. But someone who uses artificial intelligence to augment their workflow will be more efficient than you. That's just basic facts. The time it takes you to write a letter, I can write a book if I know how to use the tool correctly, right? So it's all about having the imagination to use it and how you use it. And we'll come back to that young man before I'm finished. But I want to show you the possibility, adaptability, and imagination. Isn't this an amazing picture? It does not exist in the real world. It took me less than 5 seconds to create this picture. I just described, I want a dynamic skyline that has the word adaptability and imagination on it, and it had to be something that looks good. Used to be, I would have had to go to a graphic design school and spend a whole lot of time and effort learning how to make something that looks that good. Now, I made it by writing a single sentence and just describing what I wanted to see. But it doesn't even just end there. So I was giving a presentation at the House of Commons in England, right? Westminster Palace, talking about AI in the future of service. And the keynote speaker was past International President Doug Alexander. And I asked him about 10 minutes before I got up and I started talking what his favorite type of music was. And he said, oh, I love gospel. I said, okay. And if you could write a song about anything, what would that song be about? And he said, you know, it would be about the future of service. And I said, okay. And then it would play, perhaps. Hurting, trying now for something more. Lonely hands and weary hearts, standing at hope's door. But we won't turn from all back. We are called through with love to lift the world up for trouble. We shine in less than 5 minutes. I produced an entire song based on the theme of that, what he wanted to do in the exact style of music of what he wanted to do. So how does that help? My gosh, if everybody in the room knew how to type a sentence or two and write songs about how they love being lions and start sharing them online, well, you know, part of what we need to remember as lions is how cool we are. I'm serious. Lions are superheroes. And we forget it sometimes because we're humble. And we're not doing it to brag. But everybody in here has dedicated their lives to service, yes? Yeah. Everybody in here pays for the privilege to serve, yes? Sounds pretty crazy, right? I would much rather take my picture with ID Bird than Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger could walk in and I would say, is he a lion? Well, then anyway, remembering that what we are doing is cool, right? Making a difference. And it's just a matter of how we present it. This is a pretty hip picture of a lion that would look great on a poster, a flyer, or service. Once again, I said, create a cool lion picture that has some AI elements, and it made that, right? The possibilities are only limited by our imagination. Now, it is important to address the concerns with artificial intelligence. I will tell you this, the amount of energy that is produced by all of the supercomputers and the data clouds in order to use AI poses a serious and significant environmental concern over a long period of time. It does. The problem is there's nothing we can do as individuals to stop it. That ship has long since sailed. So I decided to use AI to help recruit people who care about the environment, right? To use the very tool to raise awareness about people and how we can do things. Now, you'll see on the screen is a QR code and a website called lionsvirtual.org. So I have made a couple of very simple AI apps designed to help lions and make lionism easier to do. You can just go to lionsvirtual.org, but seeing is believing. So warning, this is a live demonstration. This could go completely left and no idea what might actually happen. But if I take this for an instance, and I just want to show you how easy this is. All right. So you go, I'm going to start.
Wallpaper's on.
My wallpaper is on. Thank you. When you do these presentations, technology is great when it works. And when it doesn't, you just kind of make it up as you go along. Here we go. Awesome. So, Lions Market to Grow is the first of these apps. How many of you think we need to get better at telling our story?
Yeah.
Okay, survey says we are the world's best kept secret because we only report our service to ourselves. And let's be real, Governor,
We don't even report it to ourselves.
we don't even report to ourselves. I'm glad that here in Oregon we can speak the truth about some things, right? And so here's the question, and I'm someone who I get in trouble a lot because I ask questions. Has a report ever recruited a member in your community? Probably not. Changed the life? Yes.
Yeah.
When you get it to the international level, but locally. No. Okay. How many times have you been told to report your service?
Every month.
All the time. Okay? How many times has someone got up in front of you and said you should be promoting, not reporting?
Today. Right.
Today. Okay. So I was, of all places, in Bali at the forum there, and I was giving a presentation about AI, and in the audience was Second International Vice President Mark Lyon, And we were talking about reporting, and I said the thing that really frustrates me is that what it could be. With a click of a button, you could take a service report and instantly turn it into a press release, a Facebook post, an Instagram post, a LinkedIn post, and then also get a list of every single one of your local media agencies that you could send that out to. And the second international vice president said, sounds great. That would take probably 2 to 3 years to develop. And I said, hold my beer. Well, I wasn't actually drinking a beer at the time, but if you hold on 1 second. So I asked for a service report, and Lion David happily provided a service report. Now, all I have done is go into the Lions portal. All I've done is go into the Lions portal, and I've copied and pasted directly from the Lions portal. And if you look, there's lots of junk there, like change record type, report complete, because all I did was just copy and paste the entire page. Watch what happens when I hit enter. If I can hit enter in less than 1, 2, 3, here we go. We're off and running. So, press release. Milwaukie Lions Club delivers holiday cheer to over 1,700 people in the annual food drive. The Milwaukie Lions Club continued its decades-long tradition of giving back with the successful execution of the annual holiday food drive, which provided food and gifts to 365 families this past December. First started around 1950, this project has become a signature collaboration between the Milwaukie Lions, the Milwaukie Elks Lodge, the NC-12 School District, and the Oaks Bottom Lions Club. Despite pandemic-related challenges, more than 200 volunteers came together, dedicating 500 hours to ensure the food and toys reached those in need. In a year where normal distribution methods weren't available, our volunteers found safe, creative ways to ensure that no one was left behind, said a club spokesperson. Families not reached during delivery were invited to pick up their packages, etc. For more information, contact the Milwaukie Lions Club. In an instant, it's an outward-facing press release. But wait, there's more. Because it is also a Facebook post, which if I could scroll over here, here's the Facebook post complete with emojis. Nice, easy, right? And then of course, it's got the hashtags, holiday giving, right? Here's your Instagram post, and it even tells you what type of picture you should be using because Instagram is about images. And then it puts it in a LinkedIn post. Now, how many of you would like more young professionals to join your clubs? Okay. Do you know where they all are? LinkedIn. That's right. If you want young professionals, you should be posting your service and leadership and professional development on LinkedIn. Every single one of you today can post that you attended an artificial intelligence workshop and learned skills, which makes you more promotable, hireable, etc. Think about all the leadership opportunities you've gotten through Lions International. That should be listed on your virtual resume. So then young people see that they can actually advance their personal and professional development by being a part of Lions, that they would get leadership opportunities, right? So question, how many of you have a LinkedIn page? Okay, now keep your hands up if it's all about Lions. All right, now, can we get some more? Right? Think about that, Governor. District Governor-elect. First, right? You guys could be the first district that took over LinkedIn. Because all of the young professionals, that's where they are. The best part about all of this is, of course, if I scroll down to the very bottom, it will then say, would you like help sending this press releases to local media? So let's ask Governor, so what town do you live in?
Portland, well, Milwaukee.
All right, so just Portland or Milwaukee?
I work in television, so put Portland.
Portland.
Yep.
Oregon. And yeah, the good thing is you don't have to spell it completely right. Doesn't matter what community you're in. It's been trained to then do a quick survey and give you, here is your media contact, your community news tips. So all you would need to do is then copy and paste the press release of your service event. If District 3060 became the first district in the world where everybody reported, because by reporting you were promoted. One extra step, right? This is just one of the possibilities. And I want to show you the second one. It's called Lions Map to Grow. And this helps you grow Lions. It helps you revitalize clubs. It helps you charter new clubs. And I've trained it in asset-based community development, which is my background, of how do you look at a community and see what potential partnerships exist within that community. How do you identify the shared mission statement and values between them? And then how do you create it? So I'd ask the question of your soon-to-be second vice district governor, if there was a place that he thought he would like to put a club in, or the district would, and he said Newburgh, right? So I'm going to put in Newburgh. ERG. Thank you. Okay, and then all I do is put new club. Now, if I've already got a club there and I want to revitalize it, I put in revitalize, and it'll give me a different set of skills, although they're very close. So right away, I hadn't heard of Newburgh more than a minute and a half ago. And I've trained it to then do what a new club consultant does, because I spent 3 years serving as a new club consultant. So the very first thing is I look at the demographics. It's got a population of about 25,000, that's good. Age distribution is 34.3, that's good. It is 75% predominantly white, about 15% Hispanic or Latino, and it's got a decent medium household income. But here's the fun part. It does asset mapping. It's the potential partner organizations. So Child, Youth, and Family Services, there's the emergency services, there's Habitat for Humanity. So these are all of these things that you can then reach out to, and it identifies them. It also then gives you a SWOT analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats surrounding potentially building a club there, and then allows you to start to do your recruitment and outreach strategies. Now, whenever anyone does membership presentations, you need to get your membership up. How?
Ask.
You need to get your membership up.
Ask.
How? Just ask. That's a great start. Okay. But are there more steps to it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, there are. So this will tell you the how. So let's just take a quick example here. So if it were me just looking at this very quickly, I would be, yes, I would be looking at the youth and family services, because I believe if we want the next generation of Lions, we need to raise them. We need to reach out and partner with organizations like Scouting America, people who already have shared mission statements that align exactly with what our mission statement is. And we find ways to help support them to increase our capacity to serve, because there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. We're not the only organization that wants to make the world a better place. And in fact, you will be surprised by how many people who want to join you if you approach them from a partnership standpoint, where you're saying we are equals in this and we want to have these shared values. So I'm thinking that Cheltenham Youth and Family Services. So all I have to do is select it. And then put it here. And then I say outreach and propose Leo Club and Lions Quest. So here it is. Establishing partnership with the Newburgh Lions Club, the brand new one, and the Cheltenham Youth and Family Service to introduce the Leo Club and implement the Lions Quest program can significantly benefit the youth of Newburgh. Here's how you can proceed. One, understand the organization that you're partnering with. And then it talks about that organization and what they do. Introduce the Leo Club program. Here's the reasons behind it. Here's the reasons behind Lions Quest. Here's outreach. And by the way, it also made you the email. I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing on behalf of the soon-to-be Newburgh Lions Club to propose a collaborative partnership with Cheltenham Youth and Family Services aimed at empowering youth in our community. We also believe that introducing the Leo Club within CYFS can offer your youth invaluable opportunities for leadership development and community engagement. Leo Clubs and youth branches of Lions Clubs International focus on fostering leadership, experience, and opportunity among young individuals through various services and activities. How did it know all that? How did it know all that? Because I taught it. The thing about AI is that it can learn. And I don't ever use it for, here's the specific fact I'm looking for. I use it for perspectives of ways to look at things. So I trained this one to look at the potential parts. So we just went start to finish in less than 10 seconds and developed an entire outreach plan to form a partnership with a local youth serving organization. Now, can that happen without you? No. It doesn't matter how good the tool is. You need to be adaptive and imaginative enough to try and use it. Because what happens when you start to do these types of things, right? So you guys will be the first to see in the world, there's a brand new one. So Lions Learn to Grow. And it's coming out this weekend, and it has teach me how to be a lion. It has teach me how to be a leader. It has designed a training, and then help me solve a problem. Okay, we're going to solve a problem right here, right now. And just to show you what AI can kind of be used for. So, what is one problem that you think exists that you would love to solve for Lions?
Invite people to the meeting.
So how do we invite more people to the meetings? Okay. Right. So this particular AI has been trained the same way we train our Lion certified instructor program people. It is all of the leadership's sort of mentality, but instead of just referencing the documents, I got it to synthesize the documents. Okay, and so we're going to have here, how do I get more young people or just in general? Just people in general?
Young people.
Okay, more young people, close enough, to want to come to our meetings. Is that what you want? All right, so all I have to do is then hit enter on it over here. we can ask this any question. I had someone, I said, test as hard as you can, and here was the question he asked it. He said, I'm associated with a Lions Foundation that had an executive director that stole money. And we have lost the entire faith of our supporting district and multiple districts, but yet we're still doing the good work. How do we rebuild? And it gave him a step-by-step plan, in which he said, this is better than what my board came up with. Now, this is simple, but I just want to show you because it breaks it down into here's the problem. The problem is young people aren't coming to your meetings. You want them involved, engaged, and excited about service and leadership, but it's just not clicking yet. Let's walk through a smart-based, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound, right? Wise advice. Young people are looking for meaningful impact, flexible participation, and authentic community. They're attracted to causes more than clubs, but they stay when they feel valued, seen, and empowered. About inviting them to a meeting and more it's less about inviting them to a meeting and more about inviting them to matter. We want your voice as a leadership as a part of this. That's why we want you there. It's just not another body. Worldwide, do you know how many Leos become lions? 3%. And I served on a task force that spent a lot of time interviewing Leos. And a Leo said, do you want to know why we don't want to join Lions? I said, yes, please. He said, well, we're young and we get asked to move the tables a lot. And I said, okay. He said, we don't mind because we're young and we're strong. But if you want us to join Lions, you need to involve us in the conversation about why the table is being moved and where it's being moved to. The majority of Leos are used as physical manual labor for their sponsoring Lions clubs. That is a universal thing. I'm not saying it's something that's specific here. I've heard that from Leos all across the country. So how do you empower them? Well, they have to matter, right? And so just as an example here, though, very quickly, I can scroll down and here are the specific, get 5 new young guests between 18 and 40 to a meeting. It gives you an action plan about how to move through if you want to actually hit those goals, right? Create a first timers night, take ownership, create a youth liaison role in your club. So here is these bonus tips. And I said, would you like help creating a flyer, a social media post, or a script inviting people? It will walk you through it. Now, let's say from a district governor level, I want to train clubs how to do this. This will also design the training. So I can say, design a club level training to get them to be able to invite younger members. And within a matter of seconds, here is a 100% built. Here is the training title, Bridging the Gap, Inviting and Inspiring People. Here's your duration. This is the format. If you want it in person or hybrid, here's your learning objectives. Here's the design of the structure. Here is the walkthrough of the presentations. Here is the role play. In an instant, I have a GLT in a box. I have a marketing chair in a box. Membership chair. And if I have it, so do you. All you have to do is be imaginative enough to see what is potentially possible when you do these things. Now, whenever I sort of present about AI, the easiest thing that I say is that I don't know anything. I don't. I knew not a single thing about artificial intelligence until February of 2023, when that young man told me the next evolution of humanity had occurred, and I said, I need to figure out what that is, right? So the process of what we need to do is what is called remembering into the future. I love that saying. It's Augustine of Hippo, who's a famous bishop from back in the day. Remembering into the future. Our traditions are what make us great. Absolutely. The service that Lions have been doing since 1917 all around the world is something we should honor, preserve, and cherish. We should always remember, but our focus should be on the future. Words have power. How long have you been the past? How many times do we introduce ourselves as the past? Think about it.
Live in the past.
You will never hear me say, I am a past district governor. Never. Because every time you say you're the past, that's what we become, and we need you to be the future. We're a providing district guidance, PDG, right? To me, that's important. We need your service today because we need you to help us remember into the future and to be able to have the innovation to get. I personally believe that the library is the future of Lions Clubs. I would add community centers to that as well. So, as a Lions Clubs International club consultant, a new club consultant, I think I'm up to around, I've helped charter 21 clubs in 8 years as a Lion. The majority of those started at libraries. Libraries are reinventing themselves ever since even before the pandemic. They're becoming community centers because of these digital devices. People don't read as much as they used to. So they're starting to offer services. So I realized that if I walked into a library and I asked them what their needs were, they're generally underfunded. They generally need more volunteers. They generally need more programming to offer their community. Who could do all three of those things? Lions. So I started forming clubs at libraries. And what I did was I would go to the library and I would say, I would like you to join and we're going to form a club branch here. And no, I don't need you to run it because you're the director of the library. You're busy. I just need you to join the club as a liaison between the library and our club branch to tell us what your needs are. I'm not asking you to do anything else than you're already doing. In fact, I'm offering to help you do it. And what if we made the services of this club based around the needs of the library? Well, all of the library clubs that I sponsored, the average age is about 45. Do you want to know why? Because they meet on a Saturday at 10 a.m. These are all working parents. They don't have time to go to a dinner meeting on Tuesday. They rarely see their kids because they're busy. And so they want to spend time having dinner with their family. But they will come out on a Saturday. And they love the library because what does every library have? A kids section. So the kids get to come out. And you're there from 10 to 10:45 for your meeting. And then afterwards, you do a service project right at that library. You do, interview practicing, helping kids write resumes. You do an informational session about diabetes. You do a health screening workshop. How many libraries are there in your district? So anytime someone says, well, I don't know how to grow lion, it's right there. It literally is. Almost every library in the United States has a group called the Friends of the Library. Have you heard about these groups? Okay, we have Friends of the Library. You're a member, absolutely. And so most Friends of the Library, they pay a nominal amount per year to volunteer. What does that sound like? So if you then say to that Friends of the Library group, if we can partner with the world's largest service organization to help our library, you got a new club. Right? And it doesn't require you to change your club. A lot of these clubs are being sponsored by the traditional Lions clubs. They don't want to change their meeting time. But they do realize that there are people in town that might want to serve if given a flexible opportunity. So there's an idea, and here's the challenge. There's a district governor from Malaysia. His name is Potter, one of the youngest district governors in the history of our association. He came up with an idea that to me is one of the best ideas I've ever heard. It's called the Service Carnival. And his theory was that we all joined because we wanted to serve, right? So why are we not using service as our recruitment method? Right? How many of you joined Lions to sit through long, boring meetings? At least one hand, two hands. Nobody. So why do we do so much of it? You want more members? Let's sit in a meeting and talk about, and a Zoom to talk about how we can get more members. You're not going to find them on that Zoom. You need to go out into the community. So the idea of the Service Carnival was he would identify towns in his district that didn't have a Lions Club. And he'd reach out to some building in that area and say, we'd like to bring a service carnival. And he went out to all the clubs in the district. And I said, listen, every club has what, maybe 5, 6, 8 people who do all the work. Right. And they're always the people wishing we had another couple more to do the work. But think about it. If every club has those 5 or 8 people, what would happen if you get together on one thing? You would be the most effective district in the entire world if you did that. So his idea was, let's just, as a district, pick a town that doesn't have a Lions Club in it and work together to bring a service carnival. So the Lions Club over here is going to bring the vision screening. And the Lions Club over here is going to make sure that the Scouts of America have a table there to promote youth services, and maybe we can tie in like some sort of things. And this group over here, and then the process of membership gets us back to where we all join. Do I have a Tuesday night to go walk on random doors and ask people if they're interested in joining Lions? No. Do I have a Saturday morning in which I want to go volunteer at a carnival of fun and service to help a community and hopefully inspire people to want to join Lions? Where do I sign up? Right? All right. Well, the good news is you sign up right here and right now. On Tuesday, I'm having a meeting that with Lions USA, which is the president is Vice President Mark Lyon, Brian Sheehan, past international president Doug Alexander, past international president Frank Moore, who are all working to try and have a coordinated service carnival in as many districts as possible. And we've gotten Ohio to sign on. We've gotten Texas to sign on. We've got the council chairs from California, Kevin Guest, and New Jersey and Maryland and Delaware. So I would love it if you guys would think about picking a library, one place, and give it a shot of reaching out. And if you're interested, I'll send you the link. And then we have a whole support system. Because then imagine if every one of us reported that in the Alliance portal and then turned it into a press release and sent it out. And you could say Lions in 27 states did service carnivals. And look what happened. Sort of getting close to closing. I want to show you what's possible. How many of you would like to see more outward facing commercials for Lions? Okay. So you are aware we have a sitting member of the marketing committee of the international board, Frankie. Okay. Oh, they got a real good one, but if you have that as something you want to see, please make sure that he hears it so he can take it back and add it to the list of people. This commercial I'm about to play, I made in just under 2 hours. It has a budget of $0. Imagine a world where neighbors become heroes, where unity turns dreams into reality. At Lions International, we make that world possible, one act of kindness at a time. Every community needs a helping hand, and Lions are there to lift each other up. From bustling cities to tight-knit neighborhoods, we serve with love, care, and imagination. We rebuild, we renew, we restore hope. We build safe spaces for children to dream and grow. We empower the next generation to lead. We make our mark because we believe service leaves a legacy. Every day in every corner of the world, Lions are making an impact, large and small. We serve not for recognition, but for the difference we make. Together, we serve our communities, and together, we can serve the world. Lions International, where your heart meets the world. Join us. Top half, no budget, right? There were no real people in that at all. Every single scene of that was AI generated. That was not even me reading that. I wrote the script and I hit a button and it transformed it. So I look at the demographics of Oregon as a state. And the demographics tell me that 15% of the entire state's population is Hispanic. Does your club look like the community you serve? Does your district look like the community you serve? In Delaware, it wasn't the case. In the last 8 years, we have shifted. It took concerted effort to do that. So my club started as a club branch of 5 members exactly 8 years ago yesterday. Our club currently has 162 members, and we have sponsored 5 clubs in the last 4 years. We are 27% of our entire district. We wouldn't be a district in the legal sense had one traditional Lions club not decided to form a club branch. And the club that sponsored us, they do pancake breakfasts and sell Christmas trees and have 3.5-hour long dinner meeting. And they love that because that's who they are. But yet they sponsored a group of crazy people who use AI and all of those things because we're a global organization And we say we would like to get some Hispanic members, but then do we speak their language? Ah, I heard a yes. I don't, but with the help of AI. Imagine un mundo en el que los vecinos se conviertan en héroes, en el que la unidad convierta los sueños en realidad. En Lions International. Word in Spanish. No sea posible. I was training a district governor from Milwaukie. It's in Africa. And I asked him, I said, what language do they speak there? And he said, Chichewa. I'd never heard of Chichewa. I looked it up. And less than 5 minutes later, Lions International, that's a commercial of me speaking a language that I did not know existed 5 minutes before I made the commercial. In the history of Lions International, which has been in Malawi since the 70s, it is the first commercial that has ever been produced in their own native language. And I didn't require 14 translators. It required a laptop and just clicking some buttons. So in closing, to bring it all around, recruiting for the future. How many elevator speeches have you heard that include the dates 1917 or 1925 or refer to Helen Keller? The next generation will be more interested in what you have done recently and what you will be doing than what Lions once did. Focus on the now. Focus on what you can do with them, right? Let's put it this way. If I come up to you and say, Lions is the world's largest service organization with 1.4 million members in 200 countries in the world, we have 8 global service areas and blah, 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 blah. What do I know about you? Nothing. I'm talking at you. I'm not a fan of recruitment speeches. I am a fan of conversations and remembering something. How do we learn as human beings? So, Bert, do you play violin? No. No? So what would happen if I were to pull out a violin and pass it to you and ask you to play violin for everybody here?
A lot of hearing aids get turned off.
You sound like you're strangling a cat, right? They say that practice makes perfect. They say that practice makes permanent. They say it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert at anything. So why do we expect membership recruitment to be any different? When's the last time you practiced? When's the last time someone actually even put it in those terms to think that you might need to practice? That's the disconnect. Mission 1.5, mission 1.5, mission 1.5. Now go play violin. We're not teaching them how to play violin. So I'll teach you how to play violin really quickly. Raise your hand if you know a human being who you respect as a person for who they are that is not currently alive. Okay. Now, when I asked you that question, whether or not you thought of someone specifically, someone crossed your mind if you raised your hand. So all I'm asking is that this coming week you pick up the phone and you call that person and you say to them, some crazy guy from Delaware asked me to think of someone who I respected as a human being. And you were the name that came to mind. You want to go out and get a cup of coffee? And then when you're there, say to them, listen, because I respect who you are so much, what's one thing you think we could do to make our community better? And whatever it is that they say, you say, excellent, let's do that together. right? What's the worst that's gonna happen? They say no. That's the literal worst, is that they say no. But you know what? You will have done an act of service, because mental health is a really important thing. And I don't know about you, but if my phone rang and someone said to me, I'm just giving you a call because I respect you as a human being, you would have made my day. You would make my week. So that's all we do, is to reach out. And that's all it takes to play violin, is the understanding that you have a conversation and you ask them, what are you passionate about? I met a young man and I asked him what he was passionate about. And he said, I'm passionate about teaching art. And I said, excellent. That's exactly what Lions do. And I pulled out an application. And he said, aren't you guys the eyeglass and pancake people? And I said, yeah, but now we're the teaching kids art people. How would you like the club to raise some funds for you to get art supplies so you can teach more kids? I talked to a young man and I asked him, what are you passionate about? He said, I'm passionate about teaching kids boxing. I said, excellent. That's exactly what Lions do. And he looked at me and he said, aren't you guys the Boy Scouts for old men? And I said, I resemble that remark, especially when I have my vest on. But now we're the teaching people boxing. It's all about adaptability and imagination. The technology piece is just a tool. If you are adaptable and you have imagination, we will be celebrating people sitting in rooms like these in 100 years, wearing shirts, proudly displaying that they are the Lions of Oregon. Thank you very much. My name is Marney. Final last piece, or here's a chance, okay? If someone right now who is not currently sitting on the International Board of Directors can get up and tell me what the mission statement of Lions Clubs International is, I will donate $1,000 to LCIF in your name. We serve as our motto.
In one ear and out the other.
In 1 year and out the other. Okay, this is just a final point, because we have a representative here from Scouting of America. So no, I know, just for a second, what is the mission statement of Scouting of America? It's to instill
Values in.
moral and ethical values to instill young people. Okay, I'm proving a point here that the people knew what the mission statement of the organization is. Don't worry, I've asked that question in front of international presidents and past international presidents, and nobody else has known it. But it is the mission statement of Lions International to empower Lions volunteers and their partners to improve health and well-being, to strengthen communities, and to help those in need through services and grants that impact lives globally while promoting peace and encouraging international understanding. Now, that's a long sentence. If the only thing you remember is we strengthen communities, we improve health and well-being, and we help people in need with services and grants, you will already be a better violin player. Because when someone asks you what Lions do, you won't say something specific like we do vision screening, and if I'm not passionate about vision screening, you've lost me. But if you say we strengthen our community, I don't know anyone who doesn't want a stronger community. Thank you very much.
Then we'll.
It's clear.